We're going to move on to week 17, Troy, of Who's Hot in the Struggle Bus, where we look at players that are lighting up the NHL, maybe driving up their hobby markets. We'll see about that. Then we also pick a couple guys who have their seat reserved on the Struggle Bus. But like we always do, we'll cover our picks for Who's Hot first. And I'm going to start with a guy that I don't know if we've featured too much on our show, which is kind of a shame because he's a really good player. Adam Fox, Troy. In his last 10 games played, the 25-year-old Fox has put up 4 goals, 8 assists for 12 points. For being such a good player, too, I think not only have we not talked about him, but he flies under the hobby radar a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll kind of dig into that in a second, see if it's justified or not.
Yep.
Just 25 years old, plays in one of the biggest NHL markets, and is almost a point-per-game defenseman. So you would think, geez, he should have a hobby market. And if you look at points by a defenseman over the past 5 years, I don't know if this will surprise you, Adam Fox is currently 5th on that list. So in the last 5 years, he has 44 goals, 228 assists for 272 points. Ahead of him are only Victor Hedman with 284 points, Roman Josi, 298 points, Quinn Hughes, 300 points, and Cale Makar, 304 points. And then, Trey, so since I was looking at defensive stats over the past 5 years,
I
was curious about who scored the most goals. Fox is not a huge goal scorer, but I got a little gong show game show for you here, a little mini edition.
Oh,
okay. Can you name 3 of the 5 defensemen with the most goals in the past 5 years?
3 of the 5. Let's go. Well, I can try. Can I cheat and use your list that you just read off? I bet one of those guys is on there. I'll say Cale.
Oh, yeah.
Cale Makar's got to be one.
Okay.
Or he's got to be on the list. I would say Makar. Let's go Erik Karlsson because he scored a bunch, I think, the last couple of years.
You're 2 for 2. 2
for 2. All right. How about Kucherov? No, I'm just kidding. He would be on there if he was a defenseman.
Touche, but no.
Well, Yossi's got to be on there because we talked about him so many times. When we first started our show, Josi was always brought up for defenseman on points.
I think you got it. Yeah. So here's the most goals in the past 5 years by defenseman. Number 1, Cale Makar.
Hamilton? Wow.
77. Number 2, Roman Josi, 75. Dougie Hamilton, 3rd with 60.
Okay.
Victor Hedman. Victor Hedman's a guy, it's just like on nobody's radar.
I know.
4th most points and 4th most goals, right? 58, and then Erik Karlsson with 56.
Okay. Good thing you didn't ask me the actual numbers. I'd have been so far off. I'd have been like,
oh. That would have been unfair. I don't know. Maybe it's a lack of goal scoring that would prevent Fox from having a bigger hobby market. Or he needs to win a couple Norris trophies to start making some, like we're seeing with Quinn Hughes being a very legitimate Norris. But I think Fox has been up there for a few years. When you look at like how many cards are sold of Adam Fox cards that sold per month. So he was 61st in our rankings last month for most cards sold by each player in the secondary markets with 447 cards sold. As a point in comparison, Makar led all active defensemen with 1,137 cards sold. So it's about a third of the sales of Makar. Now, the top sale ever I could find, Troy, of an Adam Fox card that was paid for, which let's hold on to that for a second. It was the 2019-20 Young Guns High Gloss BGS 9.5 that sold for $2,938 on May of 2023.
Here comes the picture. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm going to rant about comps again. Sorry if you're sick of it, but I have to. I wanted to find the top sale of an Adam Fox card. So I go to Card Ladder, which is very easy to sort, and you can see the top sales ever for a player. But now, as we've been trained, when they're eBay sales, you got to go to TerraPeak and make sure that they're paid for. So went and found the top sale, searched for it. Was it paid for? No. Okay, I'll go to the number 2 sale. Paid for? The number 3 sale, that's got to be paid for. Nope. Number 4, not a chance. Right? So the card that we just referenced was that High Gloss BGS 9.5 is to what 95% of the hobby sees is the 5th highest sale ever.
Yeah.
It just drives me nuts how eBay treats their sales reporting. because it creates such a false perception
Yeah.
of the hobby market for people. And I say this all the time, every time I talk about this. This is not a unique experience. This is every day when
Yep.
you dig into data. And so the hobby is constantly overpaying for cards based on comps that are not real, that never happened. And I don't care about a completed listing is not a sale is not a sale until it's paid for.
Yeah.
We've had people say, "Well, it's still a sale." No, it's not.
No.
There's no definition of a sale where money doesn't change hands, right?
Yep. And this is, you kind of mentioned, this is not a card ladder issue. This is any
No.
platform that pulls from eBay, because eBay makes it such a pain in the rear end for them to get actual sales data from Terapeak. And we do know that we did see a message that eBay has made it easier to get sales history, we think is something that kind of happened. So that's good from that standpoint. But again, does that just mean now we're going to get more unpaid cards than we did before? But yeah, this is totally on eBay to fix this.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We're showing card ladder here, because it's the system we use most often. But the exact same data you'd find on 130 point, on market movers, on eBay sales history, because that's where it comes from. The fact that eBay has two different sales reports is mind-boggling in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, rant over. Just remember, huge percentage of high-end sales go unpaid. I guess rant not over. If you only ever take away one thing from this show.
Yep. That's it.
I would hope that it's this, because this will save you a lot of money.
Yep.
In the long run, is that if you're going to buy a card based on a comp, and that comp is an eBay comp, you have to go to Terapeak and make sure it's paid for. There is a really good chance it wasn't. And maybe the next higher sale is $500, and that extra 30 seconds could save you $500. We can point out to the seller that the comp they're using is not real. So, okay, now rant over. We'll try Adam Fox is a 2019 Young Guns, PSA 10, top 1,711, 59% gem rate, last sold for $70 on January 27th, down 59% in the past 2 weeks. There was a $170 sale in January 20, kind of probably an anomaly in that, or skews data, but it is down 19% overall in the past 3 months as well. So Adam Fox, pretty good last 10 games. You got the next one. I
do got the next one, so I'm gonna put him on YouTube for our YouTube people. But this is a guy I know. I don't think we've ever even mentioned his name on our show, Ivan Barbashev, but he deserves it. He is playing, I guess I'll call it super hot right now. He's got a super hot seat on. Well, we don't have what do we say? The hot. Who's hot tub is what we're going with for where all these
too
guys
hot tub.
The too hot tub where these guys all congregate. So he's in the hot tub, I guess.
He wasn't really on my radar, Troy, until the Stanley Cup Finals last year, where they were going on and on and on about how important he was to the team.
This guy's kind of a machine. So over the past 2 weeks, Barbashev has 4 goals, 7 assists for 11 points in 6 games played. Nice little 1.83 points per game over that streak. Anyone would take that. So Barbashev is a 28-year-old forward from Moscow, Russia. Plays for the Vegas Golden Knights, as you can see in the picture. He is in his 8th NHL season. But Josh, he already has 2 cups to his name. It's crazy that we have these superstars that go for 20-some years and can barely scratch a cup or even get there. This guy's been in the league. He's in his 8th season. So 2 out of his first 7, he's got a cup. Love that stuff.
Well, the thing that I'm blown away with right now, Troy, is he's 28. He's in his 8th NHL season. That means he started in the NHL at age 20 and he's Russian. I didn't think that was legal.
I didn't think that was possible. He, see, if I remember right now, I'm going to have to go off my memory. Yeah, I want to say he flew over and actually came over a little earlier and played in, I thought I read he might have played in the Quebec Major Junior League.
Really?
Before. I don't know if he went to the KHL. I apologize if I'm getting that totally wrong. And it's funny, I've looked up a lot of Russian players for this show, so I might be getting my Russian players mixed up. But the reason I love that he made the Who's Hot list, because this is a guy, he's a great player. He's not the offensive superstar juggernaut, that we mention all the time on our show. But I think this kind of guy really fits well into our segment of who's hot because he's truly performing above his usual point per game numbers. So this year, Barbashev has 13 goals, 17 assists for 30 points in 50 games played. For his career, he has 97 goals, 127 assists for 224 points in 483 games played. So for his career, he's a 0.46 points per game player. This year, it's like 0.6. But during this streak, it's 1.83. So you definitely get hot tub spot for the Who's Hot tub. His career high points in a season was 60 in his 21-22 season with St. Louis. Currently behind that pace this season. But with this little hot streak, if it continues for, I don't know, another week or two, he could be right back in the mix for eclipsing his career high in points.
Can we just say, too, that St. Louis has let some really good players go?
It's
Petrangelo, right?
Yeah, it's the curse, man. It's just whoever you let go, like the Wild. Minnesota, every time we let someone go, it feels like they're in the All-Star game the next year or a couple of years.
Totally.
You really remember those guys. So Barbashev, 2017 Young Guns, PSA 10 pop is 30, gem rate of 45%. Last sale on January 20th of 2024 via eBay and verified in Terapeak was $74.18 US. There was one sale in December of 2023 for $65 US. So I guess you can call that a little bump, but when these sales are so low, there's not a lot each month. It's kind of hard to make any generalizations about trends, but it's $74.18 US was the last sale.
Pop 30?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, Troy. We're on to player 3 and Who's Hot. Very exciting.
Nice.
For us Minnesota Wild homers. Had to go with the North Stars themed retros. The only way I roll, Troy.
Yep, those are sweet.
But the third guy in Who's Hot this week is our very own, the Wild's only unknown superstar, Thrill the Thrill.
Yep.
Dollar Bill Kirill, y'all. Kirill Kaprizov. Where's our button bar for a standing ovation?
I have failed so miserably on that thing. I literally put a note in my calendar. Of course, it came up as the reminder when I think I was at either my son's game or a Tonka game, and I'm like, oh, just dismiss, and then I don't even think about it because it's like
I have to come over to your house and like take your
finger
and like make you press the keys, like the buy button, or what?
I don't know. This
is like a mental block right now.
It is. It's like now I'm just doing it more and more just to make myself angry, I think. I don't know.
You need a button bar therapist to help you work this out.
Button bar therapist. Well, so first it was talking about myself in the third person. Now I need button bar. I think I'm a mess. What?
Well, we're 25 minutes into the show and you haven't mentioned yourself in the third person. So
how many insane conditions can I make up for myself?
Wait, was last episode that was really late, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, at the end you couldn't even talk English. You were just like,
I know. I was like hanging on by. We're too old to be recording at 1 a.m. on a weeknight. That was pretty brutal. Back to our guy though, Kirill the Thrill. In his last 10 games, Troy, he has 7 goals, 7 assists for 14 points. I'll take that. Mm-hmm. On the season, that brings up to 19 goals, 26 assists for 45 points in 42 games played. Decent numbers, right, for the year, but not superstar production, and definitely not what our Wild need. The story here with Kaprizov, and going back to last spring, about a month before the playoffs, has been injuries. Mm-hmm. There hasn't been anything massive like an ACL tear. It's just a kind that caused him to miss a couple weeks, and then, more importantly, I think, though, then not look like himself or play like his normal game for about a month and a half after. It's sort of been that like one after another thing going on. Even this year, he's missed 7 games, which isn't horrible. But for much of the year, he's been on the ice. He's looked kind of hurt. And again, not like himself. So again, going back to last spring, his leg was smashed by Logan Stanley, which kind of started this whole run. And it's just been one thing after another ever since. Latest injury, though, got a couple broken ribs from a cross-check by the Jets' Brendan Dillon. So first, 2 things there. Number one, how hard do you have to be cross-checked to break your ribs?
Yeah. Especially, the NHL guys, their shoulder pads, they usually have protection all the way down to like your gut, like, and they can kind of tuck them in. Some guys tuck them into their breezers, but you really got to rack someone. If it was from behind, maybe I could see it on the side. Sometimes the protection isn't there, but a lot of it is now. But yeah, that's a hard cross check.
And then why are the Jets so mean to our superstar?
The Jets just do not like the Wild. Wild don't like the Jets. Like we said 100 times, you go to a Jets game or a Minnesota Wild Jets game in Minnesota, there'll be more Jets fans because they travel very well. It's a good rivalry, but yeah, stop injuring our guys, man.
We're trying to kill our superstar. Come on, knock it off, Jets. It's not nice. Although some people, I think, assume at times that Kirill the Thrill is ancient because he played so long in the like that's like going back to the whole Ivan Barbashev thing. The whole like modus operandi for a Russian player is to get drafted, then torture the team's fan base for 4 years, stay in the KHL, then finally come over to the NHL.
Yeah.
Which is like Kaprizov was in the 2015 draft. But despite that, though, Troy is still just 26 and hopefully has many good years ahead of him for a favorite team. He's played 245 career games, has 133 goals, 146 assists for 279 points. So he's averaged 0.54 goals per game and 1.14 points per game. In the past 2 seasons, he's scored 47 goals and 40 goals respectively with 19 goals in 33 games left. He's got a lot of work to do to get there, but hopefully he can get back. I would love to see him get 40 3 years in a row. What's been your thoughts on Kaprizov over the past or this year? And is it kind of the injury thing? Is that the biggest thing to you, or do you think there's something else going on?
Yeah, to me, it's the injury thing. I think it's just nagging stuff too. It's stuff that you get healed, but then it's just still going to linger a little bit. It's like a guy that really needs a good month off. Maybe this all-star break thing will kind of help a little bit with that. But I just want to make sure he keeps that 0.5 goals per game and 1.1 plus points per game streak going, because that's our superstar level, right? That's when we get if he can maintain that, then we know he's probably producing pretty well for the team.
He should be his level of talent, like a 0.65 or something like that goals per game guy.
Yeah.
This last year has definitely hurt that a little bit. So Troy, your favorite part, Kirill Kaprizov is a 2021 Young Guns PSA 10 has a pop button bar drum roll. Oh, yeah. we already discussed that. There you go. 4,882.
Oh, baby.
Very, very close to 5K.
Yeah.
I sold for 133 US on February 2nd.
Thanks.
What did you buy it for?
700.
Yeah.
I will never get that back. It's like 700 to 725. I will never get that money back unless he wins 4 MVPs, a couple cups. That money is all gone.
And adopts Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of census research, Troy.
Okay.
And what I learned is about 3/4 of all incorporated towns in the United States have a population of less than 5,000. So basically, 3/4 of all towns in the U.S., we could give them the entire town a Kaprizov Young Guns PSA 10. There's that many of them.
Nice.
Kind of interesting, huh? 66% gem rate too, which is nice.
Yeah.
Maybe not for you. So you paid like over 700.
Yep.
It is down about 3% in the past 2 weeks, but Troy, it is up 6% in the past month.
Don't call it.
If you had to guess what decade you'll break even,
never. I don't think this card will ever break even, unless they have a mass burning of Kirill Kaprizov PSA 10s someday. But then the pop count gets down to like 500. But no, there will never be a chance this card gets back to 700.
It's much more likely it's on the road to 0 than it will ever get to 700. But it's sort of your badge of honor now.
Yep.
So
I wear it with pride. Just to let everyone know, hey, everyone screws up.
It happens. All right, that's who's hot for week 17. We had Adam Fox, Ivan Barbashev, and Kirill Kaprizov.